Fair fy ye honest sunny face, great chieftain of the puddin race.
Yes.
Abundant ye tak your place, pinch, tripe, or theron. Wheel are you worthy of grace as lang's my arm. And we always
Yep.
hold your arm out and, act it out.
Hello, my friends. Thanks so much for being here with on the Touch Not channel. My friend Carl McIntosh is back with us. He's the most frequent flyer on the Touch Not channel for good reason. Carl is a great source for a variety of topics and a great conversationalist. I love to have him on here. Today, we're all about Burns Night. Burns Supper it could be called. Carl has been doing what's known as the Address to a Haggis at the Burns Night locally in South Carolina, where he lives. And we're going to be talking all about that and the pageantry of Burns Night, I call it. It's a whole performance, I think, Carl, is it not? Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be lots of fun, bagpipes. A lot of times we have dancers at ours. Um,
Ah, yes.
you, you have an immortal memory. I'll say something about that as we move along.
Hmm.
Those are the main parts of a burn supper would be the haggis, of course, and then the immortal memory, where someone up and gives a treatise about Robert Burns, and
Ah.
it can be anything.
Hmm.
I actually did one up in Charlotte before I moved to Columbia. I did an immortal memory where I focused on the women in his life, and that's all. I think he's somewhat misconstrued there. He was certainly a bit of a womanizer, but maybe not as bad as we think he was.
Okay.
But
Yep.
anyway, he really, he married Jean Armour, and he stayed married to her for pretty much his whole life.
Yes.
He had some affairs. Most notably, I suppose people would remember Highland Mary Campbell. But
Indeed.
he and Jean Armour had 8 children.
Mm.
So and he did have some children with a couple of other women, one or two, but he wasn't quite the womanizer that people like to make him out to be. Now he was obviously he was a very handsome feller, uh, and so he enjoyed the company of the lasses for sure.
Yes. And his wife Jean actually took in two of those, Carl, didn't she?
I think so.
One or
Yes.
two of them she
Yeah.
took into her own home, and oh, he did as well, I suppose. So,
Right.
yeah, you're right. I think we probably painted him a little bit harshly. Perhaps we'll give him a little bit of a break. He deserves
Well,
one for all he's given us. Come on.
yeah, that's for sure. So he the first line of the address to the Haggis is "Verify ye." Now, I came across a linguistic scholar, Michael
Okay.
Montgomery, who was here in Columbia at the university, and he studied uh, Scots, and one of the things that he used to say to me was that we ought to greet each other by saying "Fair Fye." Uh,
Mm.
I happen to have in my possession. I'll try to hold it up here where you can see it. Maybe not. I don't know where to get it. There we go. Uh,
Oh,
it's a, concise dictionary of Scots language.
okay.
Uh, and if you look up fair fy in here or fair fa,
Right.
it says wishing somebody good luck. So
Hmm.
uh, that's how he starts off the poem. Fair fy your honest sunny face.
Ah,
So in regards to how long I've been doing this,
yes.
if that's the right term, the I'll never forget the first one I ever did. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I had been practicing, so I knew how to do it. And that night, that particular night in January, there was a big snowstorm in Charlotte,
Mm.
and the person who was supposed to do it, which was Judge Campbell, Judge Campbell had been doing it for years and years,
Uh-huh.
uh, couldn't get in because of the snow. And actually, the crowd that night wasn't that great. But anyway, that was the first time I ever did it. They asked me to step in the breach, which I did, and that was the first one that I ever did publicly.
Wow.
So since then, that was probably maybe 30 years ago. It's been
Hmm.
a long time, uh, at least 30 years, I guess. Anyway, since that time, I've done it on numerous occasions, most often here in Columbia at our burn supper here in Columbia.
Uh-huh.
I also used to uh, do it over in Sumter. We had an event over there called the Scottish Country Fair, and I would address the haggis there.
Mm.
And the most notable one that I ever did, I always find this somewhat amusing. The World Burns Federation had a meeting here in Columbia.
Is that right?
The reason the reason that they met here in Columbia was because the University of South Carolina Library has one of the most extensive collections of Burns's work and what people refer to as Burnsiana. You
My
know,
goodness.
for example, we have one of his supposedly one of his porridge bowls is in the collection,
Wow.
and this was made possible by a professor whose name was Ross Roy, G. Ross Roy. He went to Scotland often. He was one of the most noted Burns scholars in the whole world, and
Mm.
he would go to Scotland and for example, one of the things we have in our collection at the university is a first edition Kilmarnock, and of course Kilmarnock was uh, the first published book of Burns's poems.
Ah, I see.
And one of the reasons that that is so significant is the Scots bought that thing and they took it with them all over the world. And so they could sit around on a Saturday night in their homes,
Yes.
I guess in pubs, but mostly in their homes, and they would read the stories. And like Tam O'Shanter was certainly one of the favorites.
Yes.
Uh, if you read through the whole thing, it's funny. It's really a funny story.
Sure.
And they would read it around their fireplaces in their homes all over the world. And
Right.
that's one of the reasons that Burns is so well known. The other thing is that he he never really he was born in Ayr, and he never really left the lowlands of Scotland. As far as I know, he never even traveled to the Highlands.
Hmm.
He just had visions of what it was like and so forth.
Okay.
Uh, he obviously had a wonderful imagination, but uh, there are two things that happen that give him fame. The
Yes.
first is, as I said, people would take the Kilmarnock, that edition, and it went all over the world. Then uh, the other thing, of course, before I leave that, was he wrote a lot more songs, lyrics to songs, than he did poems. So
Okay.
that was the other thing that made him so well known and so well liked were the songs, all the songs. Like Scots Wha Hey, that's really meant to be sung. It's not meant to be recited.
Ah, I
And
see.
and if
Interesting.
you hear it, if you
Yeah.
hear it, it's a great rendition and a great poem, great song.
Yes.
Um, the the second thing that happened was after he died, he had been a Mason. He had been
Mm.
involved with a group of men in Tarleton, uh, near where the last farm that he had. Uh, his father actually had bought the farm, but he had a farm. He had kept a farm, and he farmed. Uh, he was also, as you know, he was also an excise man, but he
Yes.
made most of whatever money he had, which wasn't much, uh, farming.
Right.
So he had gotten in with these guys, and they would get together at the pub, and they
Hmm.
would tell ribald stories and jokes
Yep.
and all that sort of thing. And it was that group of men who decided after he died that they would start a tradition of having a burn supper in
Wow.
his honor. And it's from that this thing, well,
Right.
it's not the only thing, obviously, but it's one of the things that it's why we have burn suppers now all over the world,
Yes.
in every time zone in every country. Uh, I would guess even in Russia, but I'm not positive about that. But wherever there are some folks that like Robert Burns, you're going to
Right.
probably have a burn supper. Or somewhere now. Are you going to one this year?
I am, Carl, on the 24th of January up in New Hampshire at the at Wyndham, New Hampshire. Castleton
Okay.
Inn, it's called. It's be my third one there. Lovely
Okay.
spot.
That's great.
Um,
Um,
as you said, that Kilmarnock book there, uh, as well as it took, as well as taking what he wrote in that language, it took that language with it all over the world, right? That book. Yes, it was a neat story and all that, but that they say that, a lot of what he did preserved uh, old Scots.
yeah, the book I have, which I can't quite figure out how to show it to you. There we go. How about that? Concise. It's the Concise Scots Dictionary.
Yes.
And one of my fellow conveners, whose name I've forgotten, Meg was her first name, she gave me this book because she knew I was interested in the language.
Yep.
And uh, it's a wonderful resource for me if I'm trying to find a particular word. Uh,
Right.
for example, one of the last verse, or the second to last verse, says, "Old Scotland wants nice, skinking ware that jucks and luggis." Well, most people don't know what a jucks and luggis means, but I can go in here and I can look up jucks. I think I can, and it tells me that. Well, let's go over here to this. Uh, that luggis is uh, a wooden pail or dish with a handle formed by the projection of one of the staves above the others. it's also referred to as a boys' game. So
Okay.
Jux and Logan Jux means that it's loose. So old Scotland wants nice skinking ware that Jux and Lugus. And the where
Okay.
there would be the food. We don't want any food that is wishy-washy. We want something sturdy,
Okay.
something solid, you know.
Yep.
So that's an example of how I can use this dictionary, which I'm so glad to have, um, to look up those kinds of words.
Mm.
Depending, you know, and Burns wrote in Scots, but he also wrote in English. And some of the poems that you come across um, are as much in English as they are in the Scots language. Um,
Mm.
the other thing to note to make sure we understand is this, as I said, he was born in Ayr, so he was a Lowland Scot.
Uh-huh.
And the Highland Scots, of course, during this period of time, up until the Highland clearances, really, that's when the English, besides taking away tartan and all that, they
Hmm.
tried to make all of them stop speaking Gaelic or Gallic, and
I see.
and so the Highland Scots speak Gaelic, and then this is more of the Lowland Scots speak this what we call the Scots,
I get you.
and
Yes.
of course, they also speak English, regular English too, and uh, that would be generally speaking, and we all notice a lot of times our chiefs don't have much of a brogue, and that's because they are sent off to private school,
I see.
and they try to get the brogue out of them, as it were.
I see.
Uh, uh, Again, I had the Clooney McPherson as an example. Of course, John McIntosh is too, but Clooney McPherson, he really spoke proper English. He didn't have any brogue at all. A little bit, but not much to speak of.
I see.
So that's kind of the language part of it, I suppose,
Sure.
uh, and how Burns got to be such a worldwide phenomenon. And again, besides sitting around on a Saturday night and reading the Kilmarnock or whatever they had, they would also sing his songs. And of course, the one that we all think of is Old Lang Syne, of course. But
Yes.
the and it's a funny thing, Old Lang Syne is really a story about two friends getting back together. I don't know how it came to be such a big New Year's Eve thing, but anyway,
Yes.
um, uh, uh, Scots Wha Hey, of course, is a good Scottish song. It's not really a poem. And again, if you look at his works, you will find that he wrote a lot more songs than he wrote poems. He would take ballads that were already in existence, and he would work with them a little bit, and then he would convert the language to Scots.
Hmm.
That's how that would take place.
I see.
So I was going to tell you this story uh, about the World Burns Federation that came to Columbia, South Carolina.
Yes.
Well, they asked me to address the haggis. Now, that was probably the scariest, most intimidating one I ever did
I imagine it would be.
because I was uh, I was in a room full of Scots trying to do my feeble imitation of a Scottish bro,
Yes.
and but I got through it, and I think I did okay. I mean, they didn't ask me to do it again, but I don't know where they met the next year. I guess they went back to Scotland. Uh, One of the reasons that they met in Columbia was the Burns collection. The other thing was
Yep.
uh, I don't know if you know it or not, but the Burns there's a Robert Burns Society in Atlanta,
Hmm.
and it is it's more of a literary society as opposed to a club like the one here in Columbia.
Okay.
And so they take it really seriously. And right after I did the address to the haggis, this Scottish gentleman gets up and recites by heart uh, the poem to a friend and
Okay.
to a young friend, and he was just magnificent. And I mean, he did it all right, from his memory.
Yeah.
I was a little bit intimidated by all that, but and I'll never forget it. That number one, that they asked me to do it, and I did it, and
Yeah.
I didn't do too bad, but it was pretty intimidating. Uh, so anyway, that's one of my favorite stories as far as dressing the haggis. Uh, as I said, I've done it a lot over the last 30 years. I guess it's been about 30 years.
Hmm.
Uh, Once or twice a year, depending on what's going on.
Okay.
So I'm talking more than you probably want me to talk.
No, you're doing good. Thank you so much. The first one I went to was 2 years ago, and I was just enthralled by the culture of it, the I call it pageantry because it just felt like an event to me. It was very, steeped in Burns, and this second one I went to last year, someone had the idea of there was some, they were probably not expensive, but there was editions of Burns, older books, and they were on some of the tables at the dinner. His
Yeah,
book was there, an old book they had found at yard sales. Who knows what it was? Small editions of them, and I thought that was the neatest thing
yeah,
to have a book there in front of us at the table to talk about. It was just that was just a very nice element indeed. I thought. So yeah, I was just the way I am about books and learning and everything. And this guy is it's just he's a monument to our culture. That's why there's so many societies and clubs and events surrounding him and memorializing him, Carl.
yeah, for sure. Um, I was going to also share with you, the Burns Club in Sumter, I mean, in Atlanta.
Hmm.
They actually built a Burns cottage down there. I haven't been to it. I need
Really?
to go down there and go to it, but they have a full size Burns cottage that you can visit and see how he lived when he lived in Scotland.
Right.
I think it's the last cottage he had when he had moved and had taken over the farming business from his father. And of course, one of the great ironies of his life is that he ends up at one point being an excise man. Now, we're pretty certain that he liked to have a dram or two every now and then.
Hmm.
And for him, he hated the whole excise thing,
Yes.
but it helped him make a pretty good living. So it was good for him, but he definitely didn't like doing it because
Work on
back in
commission, I guess.
what
Commission it would be, right?
I'm not sure how he got paid. I
I
should know
suppose.
that, but I don't. I don't know if he had a salary or it was commission based or how it
Right.
worked. But I know that he was not real happy that he was doing it. But it was a way of generating some income, which was certainly very important.
Right.
So uh, the other thing that people tend to not completely understand is how a haggis is made.
All right.
Do you have a pretty good idea of how it's done?
Sure, yeah, in general, but I'm sure you can put a
Well, not a,
microscope on that for us. Not too but not too
well,
powerful of a microscope.
well, no. Basically, it's the heart and lungs and liver of a sheep and kidneys. And the reason it tastes like liver more than it does anything else is because the liver is such a large organ.
Okay.
So it's all that organ meat mixed with oats,
Yep.
and then in the old days, uh, it would be cooked in the sheep's belly. All those things would be chopped up and they'd be make the mix, mix
Yep.
in the oats, and then you'd boil it in a sheep's belly.
Hmm.
Uh, Today, uh, you can buy ceremonial haggis
Uh-huh.
um, from various and sundry places. That's the kind I prefer. Um, Here in Columbia, in the past, one of the ladies would make the haggis, and
Wow.
it would be more like meatloaf than real haggis.
Okay.
Uh, the same was true, and I hope I won't get in any trouble for this. The same situation was up at Loch Norman. I addressed the haggis up there a couple of times. These days, Jamie Presley, who is from Scotland, he does it uh,
Huh.
and does a good job with it. But uh, they also had something that to me was a little bit like meatloaf, although it was better. I thought the one up there was better than the one here in Columbia.
Okay.
Now, uh, the again, you can buy a ceremonial haggis. You
Right.
can order one. You could order one yourself and cook it at home.
Yep.
Uh, and the best place to get them, I guess, is that escapes me right now. There's a company in Florida, and the name just went right out of my brain. But
That's
there's
okay.
there's a company in Florida that makes them and will ship them to you, and then
Yep.
you can cook it up and that's what we're doing now. As far
Right.
as I know, next our burn supper is also next Saturday, the 24th. Generally speaking, uh, people try to have the suppers as close to his birthday as possible.
Mm.
Um, of course, his birthday is the 25th, but
Right.
um, the they're actually having two of them next week at up at Loch Norman. They're
Ah,
having one on Friday night and one on Saturday night.
oh, good for
So
them. Include
a lot of,
everyone.
lot of demand. Well,
Right.
Charlotte's a big area.
No, that's a good
Um,
idea, though. Good idea.
yeah, we're hoping. The other thing we did this year is it's sort of it's called a supper because it's in the evening, but we're moving hours. We're going to have ours at 12:30 in the afternoon
That's all
because
right.
unfortunately a lot of our members are getting older and they don't really want to drive after dark. So we're going to have ours at 12:30 in the afternoon,
Ah, I see.
which is fine. I don't, it'll be
Right.
about the same. It's indoors anyway, so it doesn't matter too much.
Right.
But I'm not planning to go to the one in Charlotte. I'll just do the one here.
Okay.
Uh, but they always have at the Loch Norman Games. You probably remember this. They have a haggis ceremony,
Uh-huh.
and up at Grandfather Mountain they do the same. Uh, they have a big thing on I think it's Friday night or Thursday or Friday night, and they
Hmm.
have a haggis there, and they have someone to address the haggis,
Yeah.
and yeah, you go from there. I I'm also a member of the St. Andrews Society of the City of Columbia,
Oh,
and we have a haggis at our meeting, uh, our big tartan ball in December,
right.
uh, because that it's right close to St. Andrew's Day always. St. Andrew's Day is November 30th,
Okay.
so it's close to that day. And I've never been asked to address the haggis there. Uh, one of the guys, Bill Barksdale, had done it for years and years and years. He's sort of taken ill, and another fellow does it now and does it. They do a good job with it. Um, I always, if I can, if there is a Scottish person available, I always defer to them because I do think it sounds better if it's someone from Scotland who really has the the language.
Yeah.
As long as they know the verses, and sometimes people will leave a verse out by accident, and I hate that when that happens. I've never done that. I'll Every now and then I might drop a word or a line or something like that, but I've never left the whole verse out.
Yes. Well,
Um, And I would encourage anybody who is interested in studying Burns seriously that they come to the University of South Carolina.
Hmm.
All of the things that we have are in the special collections area of the library, and the largest collection is it's called the G. Ross Roy collection for Professor Roy.
Hmm.
He was um, he was instrumental in beginning the quest to collect as much Burns, again, it's called Burnsiana, as
Yeah.
much Burnsiana as he possibly could. And they have workshops there, which I've had a chance to go to a couple of them, where Burns scholars from all over the world, from Scotland and other places, they
Oh,
come so that they can study the works that are here in the University of South Carolina Library. I'm very proud of that. I think it's a wonderful, I'm so glad he did it. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
that is Carl. Yes, I hope my friend Nathan Kring from in Georgia, he's with Clan McThomas and he's a Burnsian now. I should say he's become a Burnsian over the last 3 years,
Yeah,
3.5 years. He's been on the channel here. I don't know if you saw any of his interviews and
I did.
a couple of his performances he did here, and he's become quite a he did it. He did. I think it's at Stone Mountain this year. He did some things at his tent,
Okay.
at the McThomas tent. I believe it was that. And hello, Nathan. I want him to see this and visit that museum, as everyone should that's interested. We have about 3 or 4 minutes left here, Carl. If we
Okay, so it's not the museum, it's the University of South Carolina Library,
library.
which is
Okay.
open to anyone. And when you go into the library, you just go and ask them that you want to see the Burns collection,
Hmm.
uh, and they will show you back where it is and let you uh, look at it. And you can't check anything out, obviously, but you can take something and you can read some stuff, and it's just an immense uh, collection of stuff. And so, yeah, the gentleman that Nathan, if he's online, if he's in Atlanta, I would certainly encourage him to make the journey over here sometime and spend a couple hours at the library and see what we have.
Sure. I can see that would be quite an immersion for someone that's already, into that, um, into the Bard. This would be something not to miss. Absolutely not. Not on
Yeah.
this side of this ocean anyway.
Yeah, and it is. I think it's always interesting to note that he is still considered, Scotland's bard, Scotland's
Mhm.
poet, even though they've got Sir Walter Scott and some other folks,
Yes.
uh, but Burns still ranks above them all, I think.
Yeah, he's got something there. We don't know what it is. We asked the ladies. The ladies might know.
I don't know about that again. I think that the whole ladies thing gets kind of overblown sometimes, but based on what I read and studied
Okay.
about. Um, anyway, uh, I those are some of the stories that I have to tell about addressing the haggis, and
Yes.
I enjoy it. Uh, Another person who is a Burns aficionado is Ed Miller. He's a musician. You may have seen him play or sing. He sings a lot of the Burns' songs.
No, I
But
haven't. Ed Miller.
I also want I don't want to go without saying this.
Hmm.
When they reopened Scottish Parliament, um, a woman sang Scots Wha Hey. That was that's like the anthem. Flower of Scotland, of course, is a wonderful anthem, and I'm glad we have it. But
Yes.
when they reopened Parliament, they sang Scots Wha Hey.
That says something, doesn't it?
Scots Wha Hey with Wallace Bled. Yeah,
That certainly says a statement, is what your point is, huh?
yeah.
Yep.
He is he is beloved by Scots in Scotland and Scots all over the world.
Indeed, he
And
is.
and it's only right that we would celebrate his birthday in the way we do.
Yes. With the great chieftain o' the puddin' race on the table before us. Say we celebrate him with the great chieftain o' the puddin' race.
Yeah.
right? That's what it is.
Yeah,
The haggis.
that's what it is. It's a
Well,
haggis.
thank you so much, Carl, for taking us right through a burned supper, front to back, 30 years of it.
Well, yeah. Again, there's other things. The immortal memory, of course, is important. There are toasts uh, to the Queen, usually, or the King, and this now these days.
Okay.
Toast to the King, toast to the President. Um, so they're toast. Like you said, a lot of pageantry. We have the good fortune of I don't know if you know who Neil Anderson is, but his wife
No.
is into she's teaches Scottish dancing, Highland dancing,
Ah,
and we always have some of her students who come and they perform at our burn supper, and that's always a wonderful addition to what we do. Uh, and then we have an auction, a silent auction where there'll be books and so forth.
nice.
Uh, some burns things, but really just anything, just to, just as a fundraiser.
Great. Well, Carl, I got to say thank you again for this.
You're
I,
welcome.
I'm not sure how many times you've been on the channel now, but everyone has been a gem for me and a success in my opinion.
Yeah. Well,
And
here
people,
I can finish. Let me finish with the last verse of the address. It's ye
I'll give
powers
you.
what make mankind your care and dish them out their bill of fare. Old Scotland wants nigh skinking ware that shucks and luggis. But if you wish a grateful prayer, ye her a haggis.
Thank you, Carl.
Yes, sirree. Glad to
Enjoy,
do it, Rick.
all right, enjoy your Burns night this year, Carl and everyone.
Can't wait.
Alrighty, touch not everyone. Bye bye, Carl.
Bye. Bye, Ray.